State of the Union with Candie Crowley, CNN Sunday morning, 9 Eastern.
Welcome to the video podcast of CNN's State of the Union for this Sunday, April 15th. I'm Candie Crowley. Today, a conversation with comedian and actor Bill Cosby about politics, guns, and the Trayvon Martin case. Bill Cosby isn't just an actor and a comedian, he's also an activist with an interest in politics. I caught up with him this week in Washington. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about politics before we talk about this amazing theater. You know that there has been some disappointment in the African American community, some disappointment in the lesbian gay community, some disappointment for those sort of on the lower end of the economic ladder, that the president hasn't done enough, that he got into office and went too middle of the road. Do you find anything that he's done that disappoints you?
I'm disappointed at people who don't look at the woes and the trouble given to this man. People blatantly speaking out against his color, wasting time starting up new stories about whether or not he was born here, saying things that they can't prove. And this man, I feel sometimes, not all the time, that it's like watching, his job is, people want to make it as difficult as the one that Sisyphus had. And then when you see that he made promises and said things, the people who were supposed to be working with him didn't. The people who are supposed to be working even for another party didn't care about the American people. They wanted to get him. When people make statements like, I hope he fails, you can't color that any other way except the way it's said. And yes, okay, gays, lesbians, blacks, illegal aliens, pardon me, people like that are right. It didn't happen, but look at why it didn't happen. It's a man trying to go about doing his job and a ton of other people voting against him, and regardless of what he says.
Isn't that kind of, though, the definition of politics and how Washington has always worked with the parties?
Worse. This was worse. And everybody knows it was worse. And I think that this second term is one where we are really going to see a man who gets it, knows it, and it's going to be better, period.
So you're confident there'll be a second term?
I am more than confident because he knows now who to say no to. He knows now who to say, I don't care what you say, this is going to happen. And I believe he is for the people.
What do you think of the Trayvon Martin case? Is there an aspect of it that worries you more than?
No, I think it is. I listened to his parents, Trayvon's parents, and they seem to be very, very pleased with what is going on. I'm a person who believes that the gun, all around this United States, when a person has a gun, sometimes their mind clicks that this thing it will win arguments and straighten people out. And in the wrong hands, in the wrong mind, it's death, it's wounding people. People who don't have money to buy a decent meal for themselves, yet someone will put an illegal gun in their hand. And we in this country have got to continue to be out there in the streets about the gun, I'm not saying you can't have it in your home to protect yourself, because people on drugs really don't care. They don't think well, and they will kick in your door. So you've got to protect yourself in your own home. But I also believe that when you tell me that you're going to protect the neighborhood that I live in, I don't want you to have a gun. I want you to be able to see something, report it, and get out of the way, because you happen to be a part of the neighborhood. I don't want you to get hurt, and I don't want you to hurt anyone.
So you saw more a gun issue than a race issue. Is that
How are you
right?
going to solve a race issue when it becomes he said, she said, or he said, he said? And the other question is, what is solved by saying he's a racist? That's why he shot the boy. What solves that? This, and what is he doing with it? And who taught him and told him how to behave with this? Because it doesn't make any difference if he's racist or not racist. If he's scared to death and not a racist, it's still a confrontational provoking of something. I don't know what happened, but I know that I used to have a gun. The policeman who okayed it said to me, "Mr. Cosby, when you pull this trigger, you can't call it back." And so I had the gun in my pocket. And the reason why I had it was to protect my family. But I also knew that anything that went on outside, and it appeared to be something that wasn't on the okay, I went out with my gun. And the thought was, if this person is not right, or if that doesn't move when I say move, I'm going to show that I have a gun. When you have police,
Scared yourself.
When you have police, you call. And cops even call backup, and they have a gun. So,
You got rid of it. Sounds like.
oh,
No.
listen, I gave it back, yes.
Yeah.
I just feel that this thing, we need to get rid of it on the streets. And if people have one, they should be checked out so thoroughly. And they should be given all of the answers before they even go to this. And every answer should be, don't go for this. Every answer should be, don't even go where you see somebody break in, call in, sit tight, call back up, here they come.
No Lone Rangers.
No.
Thank you for checking out this week's State of the Union podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. State of the Union airs every Sunday at 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm Candie Crowley in Washington.